Total depravity is the first term in the TULIP acronym, which make up the 5 points of Calvinism. The term total depravity is referencing the idea of original sin, and to understand what Calvin thought about total depravity, you first need to understand what he thought about original sin. Original sin is when Adam and Eve first sinned in the garden, it corrupted the whole human race, i.e. their descendants. Ever since, humanity has had a totally sinful, completely fallen nature. Here are some Bible verses that speak to total depravity. Genesis chapter 6 verse 5. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? Ecclesiastes 9:3. The hearts of the children of man are full of evil, and madness is in their hearts while they live. Romans chapter 3 verses 10 through 12, which quote Psalm 14. None is righteous, no, not one. No one understands, no one seeks for God. All have turned aside. No one does good, not even one. Romans chapter 8 verses 7 through 8. For the mind that is set on the flesh is hostile to God, for it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it cannot. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God. John chapter 6 verse 44. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14. The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he is not able to understand them. Original sin and total depravity are hereditary in nature, in that when our father Adam sinned, it corrupted us as well. It corrupted the whole human race. All of Adam's descendants would have a depraved nature, as he did. Calvin defines original sin like this: a hereditary corruption and depravity of our nature, extending to all parts of the soul, which first makes us obnoxious to the wrath of God, and then produces in us works which in Scripture are termed works of the flesh. That's from Institutes of the Christian Religion, Book 2, Chapter 1, point number 8. To be totally depraved is to be totally dead, totally helpless, and totally corrupt, and totally lost. You're in a hole with no ladder, you're stuck, and you're on your own. You aren't getting out of that hole. You're dead, and no amount of trying harder or choosing to not be dead will make you any less dead than you are. Jesus taught about this in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 4. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself, unless it abides in the vine. Neither can you, unless you abide in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Whoever abides in me, and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not abide in me, he is thrown away like a branch, and withers. And the branches are gathered and thrown into the fire and burned. John Calvin describes original sin and total depravity in his book, The Institutes of the Christian Religion, Book 2, Chapter 1.5. As Adam's spiritual life would have consisted in remaining united and bound to his Maker, so estrangement from him was the death of his soul. Nor is it strange that he who perverted the whole order of nature in heaven and earth deteriorated his race by his revolt. The whole creation groaneth, saith St. Paul, being made subject to vanity, not willingly. Romans 8:20 and 22. If the reason is asked, there cannot be a doubt that creation bears part of the punishment deserved by man, for whose use all other creatures were made. Therefore, since through man's fault a curse has extended above and below over all the regions of the world, there is nothing unreasonable in its extending to all of his offspring. After the heavenly image in man was effaced, he not only was himself punished by a withdrawal of the ornaments in which he had been arrayed, wisdom, virtue, justice, truth, and holiness, and by the substitution in their place of those dire pests, blindness, impotence, vanity, impurity, and unrighteousness. But he involved his posterity also, and plunged them in the same wretchedness. This is the hereditary corruption to which early Christian writers gave the name of original sin, meaning by the term of depravation of a nature formerly good and pure. From point 6, he also says this: accordingly, the relation subsisting between the two is this: as Adam, by his ruin, involved and ruined us, so Christ, by his grace, restored us to salvation. Calvin exposits his understanding from Romans chapter 5, verses 18 through 21, which says, therefore, as one trespass led to the condemnation for all men, so one act of righteousness leads to the justification and life for all men. For as by the one man's disobedience the many were made sinners, so by the one man's obedience the many will be made righteous. So Calvin is essentially saying that because all sin entered the hearts of humans through one man, Adam, then all sin can be taken away by one man, that being Jesus, who is the second Adam. Adam is our representative in sin, and Christ is our representative in righteousness. So to sum it up, the doctrine of total depravity means, number one, due to Adam's sin, we all have a sinful nature by inheritance from Adam, and thus produced our own sin, which we are responsible for. Number two, no one is righteous on their own, as righteousness requires perfect obedience to the law. And number three, we have an inability to seek after God or to please Him. We cannot do it on our own. Total depravity takes all the weight of obedience of the law off of you, since we couldn't do it anyway, and it puts it on Christ's shoulders. Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. This is what total depravity means.